forward to that. You guys see everything fine?
It feels amazing.
We stink. If you can't care enough to go out there and give everything you've got and try your hardest, that's bullshit.
And the kick is up, and it is no good!
When we do play, we're capable of playing.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay!
We're pretty tough to beat.
I've never really played quarterback, but I'm an athlete, so, it's been there.
Flash the X again.
Touchdown! Yes, Davante Adams!
Damn it! It feels good. It feels great. We're champions. Keep it playing at all times.
Yeah, it really was such a great weekend, not just because of the holidays, but all of the games we saw on Saturday and also Sunday. Hello, everybody. Welcome on into First Take on this Monday. We hope you had a happy holidays. I'm Charlie Arnold, and look at this crew right here. Dominic Foxworth, Ryan Clark, Dan Orlovsky, and guys, I honestly don't think I could ask for a better host of panelists because, as you'd imagine, we have a lot of football to get into. So let's start off with the Chiefs, who yesterday clinched the AFC, also a first-round bye with a really not-so-simple win over the Falcons. All right, what do you say? Let's take a look at how things are shaking out in the AFC playoff picture. An AFC team will have at least 10 wins and not make the playoffs, which will be the first time that has happened in any conference since the 2015 Jets went 10-6. There's also still a chance an 11-win team does not make the playoffs in the AFC. Dom, with so much talent in the AFC, do you think that the Chiefs are going to have an easy road to the Super Bowl?
Absolutely not. I'm not sure why. Maybe my head is just here, but when you started out, I thought you were going to say so much drama in the LBC, but I guess my head is on a West Coast frame of mind right now. I'm not sure where that came from, but it just popped into my head. But anyway, I do think that there will be so much drama in the AFC also. I don't think the Chiefs are going to have an easy road. I picked them to win the Super Bowl last year. I picked them to win the Super Bowl again this year. I think they will win it, but we saw what happened to them last year, and they were pretty close, if not better, last year than they are this year, at least defensively. Statistically, they were better last year than they are this year. And offensively, it seems like they're probably a little bit better right now because Patrick Mahomes inexplicably is somehow still getting better, even though he's had a couple bad games this year. But it's the playoffs. The NFL, we saw them on the wrong side of win probability in all three of their playoff games, including the Super Bowl in the second half. There were 3 improbable comeback victories for them to win the Super Bowl last year, and you could argue that they were better last year. If anything, they're close to the same. So I think this year, throughout the regular season, there have been some struggles, even though they've had Patrick Mahomes healthy in all those games. I think it's unlikely that they're just going to breeze through an entire conference of football teams because this conference is not like the NFC. I think there are a lot of really good teams. I think Buffalo could give them a problem because they can score with them. The Ravens, despite the fact that they've dispatched the Ravens pretty easily the last couple of times, the time they played the Ravens 2 years ago was a close game with Lamar Jackson. I think the Ravens could give them some challenges. And I think that the Colts also are another team, if they can make sure that they cement their place in the playoffs, a team that can challenge them defensively. So saying it's going to be easy, I think is a bit disrespectful to the rest of the NFC and a bit ahistorical. If you see the history of this sport, even most teams that win at least 14 games, they're going to struggle. Only 3 of them have actually gone on to win the Super Bowl. So I think they will win it, but they'll struggle.
Dom, I see you with your Morris chestnut today with the turtleneck on. I see you. You look good. You look good. Listen, it ain't easy, right? Like it's winning the Super Bowl.
That was magnificent.
It's winning the Super Bowl, right? There's not going to be an easy road. They got the easiest, though, because they have the best team and the best quarterback. Dom brought up a bunch of really good points. I would say this, the things that would potentially knock them off or hold them back outside of the teams, I've said for 3 months now, it was the Buffalo Bills were the most equipped team to do it because they got a quarterback in Josh Allen that can go above the X's and O's. That's what Patrick Mahomes does, right? So you look like you got a quarterback that can kind of go punch for punch. That's a difficult matchup. They can be explosive on offense, Buffalo. Kansas City loves to bring pressure. They're going to blitz you. When teams blitz you, it gives you the opportunity to hurt them. They got guys like Stephon Diggs that can hurt you, right? And so there's another opportunity that will make that Chiefs road just a little bit more difficult. And then they got a great coaching staff. You got to have a great coaching staff to go against the Chiefs as well, and Buffalo has that. But you also look at the Chiefs. I love them. I think they've been bored for a long time this season for multiple games. They remind me of the Lakers, just bored in the regular season. But do the slow starts catch up to them? Do them playing stretches of just okay football catch up to them? That would be their version of their C game, right? If the Chiefs show up up in the playoffs with their C game, one, I would be shocked. But two, if they play their C game and a team like the Tennessee Titans plays their A game, or a team like the Buffalo Bills plays their A game, they can be beat. So it's not an easy road, but it's the easiest road because they're the best team that is as good as coached, as well coached as anybody, and they still have the best player in football in Patrick Mahomes.
Definitely does, make this hard on a team like KC, but somehow, some way, Pat Mahomes keeps coming up with funky little plays like every single day. And so when you look at what this team can do, you say to yourself, yeah, I believe that, the Kansas City Chiefs will move through. But even in being able to move through in that way, that's not how the playoffs work. When you start the playoffs last season and you see teams like the Tennessee Titans go into Baltimore and win, and then the Houston Texans go into Kansas City and you're up by 3 touchdowns, you think to yourself, okay, this wasn't things that we expected. And that's what happens in the playoffs. And so, no, there isn't an easy route. And it's definitely not an easy route when you have a team like the Buffalo Bills that I think are in the conversation with the Kansas City Chiefs, are in the conversation with the Green Bay Packers as the top 3 football teams in the league. And Dan is absolutely right. I watched Josh Allen play against the Denver Broncos, and something became extremely apparent to me. He believes he's the best quarterback in the NFL. And part of believing it is going out and seeing it week after week and understanding that you got a guy in Stephon Diggs that you could throw the ball to on any play. He's going to create separation. Having kind of that big dog mentality that we saw the Buffalo Bills display against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the second half. And also just knowing how it works. You just have to be bad one day. You talk about the C game, Dan, that we saw the Kansas City Chiefs play, and I believe we saw that against the Las Vegas Raiders this season. Early on in the season when they lost the one game that they did, we got their C game, right? They started out pretty good, and then the game got tight, and then they had a third quarter and half of a fourth quarter where they didn't play football at all. And then they fell behind, and we didn't get that Patrick Mahomes Kansas City magic that we often see. And so, yeah, we'll sit around, and I don't think there's going to be a person on this panel. There's not going to be Charlie, our host, or Jeff that produces the show, or Antoine that calls me every time my Wi-Fi breaks up and say, we're going to pick a team to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. But if the Kansas City Chiefs do fall, if a team does show up and play out of their minds and beat them, we won't be surprised in the sense that this is what football is. It's not basketball. You don't get 7 times to do it. Right. The best team doesn't always win. So the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have to show up, stop playing bored, and start when the clock is at 60 minutes and finish when it hits the zeros, playing their best ball if they want to be the Super Bowl champions.
You're right. You're right about Josh Allen believing he's the best player on the field, the best quarterback in the league, and that matters. And his team seems like they believe it also. Like, I became a bigger fan of Josh Allen when he spiked the ball in the Chargers' face after he ran a touchdown. No one likes it. It's a 15-yard penalty, but it's an attitude.
I think it's
an attitude that he brings to the game. Yeah, he spun it right in his face, and everyone was up in arms like, oh, so disrespectful. You're damn right. Sometimes football is disrespectful. So I do have faith in that team, and I think if the Ravens can keep playing the way that they're playing, I don't know if they can, that team could be tough. But all right, I'm going to throw it to you with this one, Dan. Before you give your analysis, it's very important to me that you name a movie that Morris Chestnut was in. You can't just be pulling out Morris Chestnut references. Easy. I don't know who texted it to you, but you got to show
First of all, my
that you got some cred. You can't just be saying
what I was gonna say.
You can't just be saying Morris Chestnut.
First of all, Boys in the Hood. But what I was gonna say was like,
yes, all right,
I think with the Chiefs, it's like somehow, some way they'll be coming up with funky football plays like every single day.
Yeah,
we already did that. We already did it.
Kick a little something he missed it. Let Dan come back and do that and let him have his day.
Boys in the Hood, I win.
My man, I'm sorry, Dan. Your suit and tie combo, though, is phenomenal. I love it.
I think Morris Chestnut is a huge compliment, Dom, so I would just take it and run with it.
I wasn't insulted.
I think it's a huge compliment. Okay,
Morris
also,
Chestnut
obviously, we're looking at...
good.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my goodness. I hope he is watching today. Obviously, we're looking at Pat Mahomes to lead the way for the Chiefs in their route to hopefully the Super Bowl, but also Travis Kelce doing a lot of big things yesterday. He became the first tight end in the NFL to have